Welcome to LFC Transfer Hub. We examined Jamie Carra'S' 3 reasons Liverpool aren't suited to Premier League anymore. Jamie Carragher gave a no-holds-barred assessment of Liverpool's Premier League woes this season on Sky Sports Monday Night Football coverage, ahead of Everton's home clash with Leeds United. Discussing how Liverpool's good form in Europe stands in contrast to poor league form, which saw the Reds fall to 6th with defeat against Bournemouth, Carragher ripped into Liverpool as not suited to the Premier League, and warned head coach Arne Slot that he must improve 3 key areas to keep his job as pressure ramps up on the Dutchman. Carragher said, "If I think of the 3 big things that would stand out for me in the Premier League now that you're coming up against, it's set pieces and long throws, it's counter-attacking football, both for and against, both set pieces and counter-attacking, and if you're a top team like Liverpool, coming up against low blocks, as Arne Slot likes to say. Liverpool can't cope with any of them, so what we're seeing is a team in the Premier League who's not suited to the Premier League. But when we see them in Europe, are set pieces as important and long throws? No. Is counter-attacking as important? Counter-attacking's always important, but not as much in European football, and nobody's just sitting there in a low block. So this suits Liverpool. They can beat Real Madrid, they go away to Inter Milan and win, they can go away in Marseille and win, and they'll finish in the top 8 and be in the knockout round. Liverpool take on Azerbaijani champions Carra'S FK at Anfield on Wednesday night, with a win required to make sure of the top 8 finish, which would exempt Liverpool from the slog of a playoff round in February. Despite the shoddy domestic form, which has seen Liverpool win none of their last 5 league games, Liverpool could still finish as high as 2nd in the Champions League phase. But Carragher warned progress in Europe would not be enough to save Slot's job if Liverpool do not qualify for next season's Champions League. Carragher added, "Liverpool, I think, as a club and a support, can accept an almost collective responsibility around, we're not gonna win the league this year, and we're not gonna challenge. We accept it, not good enough, but we accept it." But once you start seeing what Manchester United have done the last couple of weeks, once you start seeing Chelsea, when you start seeing where Liverpool could actually finish, outside the Champions League positions, I really fear for them because, as I said, I don't think this team's equipped for Premier League football. Once you start fearing Champions League qualification for next season, that's when I think we've got a completely different proposition when we're talking about the manager's job. That, for me, is completely different. If we're talking about not winning the league or challenging for the league, that is collective responsibility, and Liverpool don't win the league every year. But not making the Champions League from being champions, spending £450 million, and having the highest wage bill in the Premier League, which is the biggest sort of determining factor normally about where you finish in the league, I think you've got serious questions to ask. If Arne Slot is to turn the tide and save his job, Carragher is clear in his assessment that the 3 key areas of set pieces, including long throws, counter-attacking football and facing low blocks, must be improved to secure Champions League qualification. Here we'll dive into the stats provided by Opta, unless otherwise stated, to see how Liverpool match up to the rest of the Premier League. Set pieces and long throws. Liverpool's league set-piece record has infuriated supporters this term, in a season in which set pieces have defined Arsenal's title charge and become even more important from top to bottom of the league table. Liverpool were once a formidable threat from set pieces, with killer deliveries from the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson, often finding the heads of Virgil van Dijk, Ibrahima Konate, and Joel Matip from corners in particular. This season, Liverpool have only managed 5 league goals from a total of 71 shots from set pieces. Leaders Arsenal, by contrast, have scored 3 times as many set-piece goals in the league, from only 102 shots. Only bottom feeders Wolverhampton Wanderers have scored fewer 4 from set pieces in the Premier League this season, albeit from a lower number of shots, 64. And only Brentford have a worse ratio of set-piece shots created to set-piece goals scored than Liverpool, with 5 goals coming from 94 shots in the league this season. Liverpool rank 17th in the league by both of these metrics, suggesting that the Reds' problems lie more in creating opportunities from set pieces rather than converting them necessarily. It's too early to assess the impact of former set-piece coach Aaron Briggs' dismissal at the end of December, but 2 of Liverpool's 5 set-piece goals in the league have come since then, both in the weekend's defeat to Bournemouth. The first, Van Dijk's headed goal, was only the 2nd goal Liverpool have scored from a corner this season, an astonishing statistic considering the captain's aerial ability. The second was a beautiful free kick, executed by Dominik Szoboszlai after a flick from Mohamed Salah. The Hungarian midfielder has proven his quality from dead ball situations this season in spite of the shortcomings of his teammates, but this serves as another example of Liverpool relying on individual quality rather than repeatable routines. In terms of defensive set pieces, the numbers make for similarly grim reading. Liverpool ranked 12th for shots conceded from set pieces in the Premier League this season with 84, and 19th for goals conceded, 14, with only Bournemouth worse in the second metric. The eye test backs up the numbers. While Liverpool are an average side at defending the initial delivery, ensuring opposition attackers don't get free headers too often, the chances they are actually conceding from set pieces are more likely to result in goals. As seen in Amin Adli's last-minute winner for Bournemouth, Liverpool all too often collapse at the second or even third phase of defending set pieces, leaving opposition attackers with ample space to find the back of the net. Earlier in the season, exemplified by Eddie Nketiah's last-minute winner for Crystal Palace, Sep 27, Liverpool were especially guilty of looking to get forward too quickly from defensive set pieces, leaving gaping holes in behind for the opposition to exploit in the second or third phase. If anything, this has been replaced by a paralysis of sorts, defenders no doubt scared to make a mistake, in the case of the Fulham game on Jan 4. This led to Harrison Reed's brilliant last-minute equaliser, when the 31-year-old was given acres of space and time on the edge of the box, as Liverpool refused to budge from defending the 6-yard box. Both the Reed goal and Adli's goal at the weekend came from throw-in situations, and are the only set-piece goals Liverpool have conceded in the league since Briggs' dismissal. While the Reds may have tightened up from corners, it is worth noting that Liverpool's setup for defending the initial delivery has not noticeably changed since Briggs' dismissal. Meanwhile, the trend of conceding late in games, and from throw-ins, has showed no signs of improvement. Adli's was the 5th such goal Liverpool have conceded late in the Premier League alone, hinting at an additional psychological factor behind Liverpool's apparent inability to defend set pieces when the clock is ticking down with the game in the balance. And Liverpool have both the worst record of shots, 23, and goals conceded, 5, from throw-ins of all 20 Premier League teams this season. Counter-attacks. Per Who Scored, Liverpool have scored 3 goals on the counter-attack this season, ranking joint 6th in the division. The Reds have also conceded 3 on the break, ranking joint 10th. Neither of these figures are particularly terrible, but nor do they resemble the Liverpool that fans became accustomed to under Jurgen Klopp and indeed last season. In Slot's first season, in which Liverpool romped to the Premier League title, the Reds scored 14 goals on the break, a full 4 clear of the next closest side in Tottenham Hotspur. Even adjusting for the number of games played so far, Liverpool are way below the standards they set last season in this metric. Liverpool also conceded only 2 goals on the counter-attack in the league last season, a figure they have already exceeded this time out. Despite this, Huddle StatsBomb's figures show that Liverpool have actually conceded fewer shots per game on the counter-attack this season, 0.7, than they did last term, 0.95. But this more likely reflects the changing tactics of the league at large, with more sides defending deep and hitting it long to strong players who can bring others into play, with a focus on winning attacking set pieces rather than committing numbers forward on the break. According to Who Scored, after 23 sets of fixtures, 52 goals have been scored on the counter-attack this season. Averaged to estimate the number of counter-attacks that will lead to goals over the whole season, we can reasonably expect a final total in the region of 86. Last season, 112 counter-attacks led to goals in the Premier League, meaning this season we are currently looking at a 23% drop-off in the number of successful counterattacks. Liverpool's underperformance this season, therefore, is brought into sharper relief, accounting for the relative scarcity of counterattack goals conceded as a whole throughout the league.